My name is Ahmed Umate. I will be discussing today about enhancing the client's or the customer's shopping experience. Before we go into detail into this interesting research proposal, I will start by presenting the agenda of the day. So we'll initially discuss about the overview of the problem. Um, we'll go in details about the objective, our target audience for this problem we are trying to solve. We'll give you what our sample size looks like, the primary data collection techniques, and also go into brief detail about the secondary collection analysis, data collection analysis. We'll then proceed to discuss about the estimated timeline and cost to complete our project. And finally, we'll discuss about ethical considerations and other further considerations which we took into account while performing this research. Overview of the problem. So we have realized that nowadays, with technology that came into the people's life, our way of interacting have changed. Many things have changed. So 50 years ago, for example, shopping was solely done at shopping malls. Uh, with the dot-com boom and the coming in of the creation of industries, companies such as Amazon, eBay, and every other retail like Nike having their online websites whereby customers can go in and purchase, has created a new trend, a new way of shopping, a new way for the clients or the customers to shop online from the comfort of their own house. It is true that there are a lot of advantages that came with shopping online, such as saving time, cost efficient, having the shipment sent to you directly, doing it from the comfort of your house. In some cases, you find better deals online than going to the shop. There are also many problems which arose throughout this process, and that's what we are going to focus today. The process is already great, but the question we have to answer is how do we make it even better? So, right now, what are the difficulties which are faced by people who shop online? The common ones are, for example, if you're purchasing a cloth like or a dress, you can't try it on, you can't touch the texture, you don't have that experience. How can we enhance it? This is the question we are trying to answer today. When you're shopping online, for example, some people are discouraged by the fact that it takes maybe 2 3 days for the product to come home. They want their products to be shipped same day. How can we address that? Companies such as Amazon with their Prime services have started addressing it, but how can we make it better? There is no other way to improve this process to enhance the client's experience, to enhance the customer's experience shopping online than going out and speaking with regular shoppers to understand what makes you shop online. What do you want to see changed? Why do you prefer this website? Why do you not prefer that website? What pushes you to shop online? Like, what effects do pop-ups have on you? So we are going to have to target an audience to ask them those questions, and based on those questions we will take recommendations from them, and those recommendations we can hopefully apply them in order to increase or enhance the client's shopping experience online. So after carrying research, we've understood that who are the people who shop mainly online. uh, The research has shown that the people who shop mainly online are women. A typical shopper online is a woman who's approximately 47 years old, who makes approximately $45,000 a year, and who spend approximately on average a month 44 hours online. So this is the woman who shops the most online. Why do they shop the most online? That's a question to answer for one. For two, we also have to understand what encourages these women, what can push them to shop even more online, what motivates them, why do other people not shop online. So based out of that, we'll have a series of questions again prepared to them. Why do you shop online? When you see a pop-up, how do you react to it? What could be made better? What is not going well? What part don't you like? What recommendations will you make? And based on those answers, we should be able to have an idea on what our recommendation will start to look like. So, which technique are we going to use to survey these women? We're going to use a causal survey technique. So the causal survey technique just means that you will change variables and see how those changes affect the overall results. Let's say we will change, for example, the price online. If we change the price of an item, what result would it have? Will the sales go up? Will the sales go down? If we add more pop-up, will it increase sales? Will it boost sales online? If you have referral fee or have a campaign, what effect does this have online? So we'll have a survey. We'll use that technique. We'll also prepare a survey which we'll send to 50 women from the age 40 to 50 years old, just because they are the people who spend the most money online, to understand what's working for you, what's not working. And out of the 50 email, we know as a fact that not all 50 will answer. So we're looking for 30 responses as a sample size. If we have more, that would be great. That will help us have a more accurate sample size. But we are looking for 30. That's why we took 50, just to make sure. And again, from the age 40 to 50, because they are the one who shop mostly online, and we're hoping that by increasing their experience, it will help us reflect and attract more people to take advantage of the great experience which is shopping online. So we have that defined. Once we have that defined, there's also a second thing we should take into consideration here. What is the secondary data collection? We are not the first people to research this phenomenon. Other researchers have done such research, and there are a few websites which we can go to in order to have information. Okay, what did your research show? How can we use that data to implement it into our data? How can it guide us? What were the results of your research, and how can we use that in our research? So in the document we submitted, I was able to cite a few sources from where you could find this type of information, and which also helped me in my own research when coming up with recommendations on how to enhance the overall online shopping experience for a client. Once we have all that, we have identified the problem, we have identified our audience, we have sampled the audience, we collected data, we analyzed the data. There's another aspect which we need to take into consideration is, while doing this, there are resources which are spent. So what are the estimated research time and cost to complete this research? In my opinion, will need 4 weeks to complete this research. In the first week, you define the problem, overview of the problem, you understand what's going on. In the second week, you can have identify your audience, have a sample size, prepare a market research technique. In the third week, you can ask the questions, carry on your surveys, have the data, and analyze the responses you have. Once you've done that, in the final fourth week, you can then now uh, promulgate recommendations based on the research you have done, based on the analysis of the data you've collected. What is the cost of the survey? For me, I believe I have $600 budgeted, so 100 $200 for personal expenses like transportation cost, cost of meeting people, cost of printing stuff, and so on. We have $100 for the cost of data collection, $100 for sampling size, and then we've budgeted another $200 for unexpected costs. You're never sure, so if any unexpected cost comes across while we are doing the research, we can use it as backup funds. So those are the main timeline and cost constraints we have for this project. So while performing this project, we have to understand that we are not trying to make the end justify the means. This means that we are trying to provide a research which follow the ethical norms prescribed by the MRA Code of Ethics. So in my opinion, in my situation, the most important facts that I take into consideration while doing this research was the transparency with my client, with my customers. So if I interview you or take your information, I have to let you know that this information is for this specific research. If I need the information for anything else, we'll have the people interviewed, the sample, or the people we've chosen to give us consent to use the information. That's one. Two, we have to make sure that the results we get out, data we collect, it has to maintain its integrity. Even if it doesn't help us in our research, we do not need to alter the results, because again, we believe in ethical research methods, because that's the best thing to do. So we have to make sure even when we get the data, it has to keep its integrity. We don't need to change the data or modify it so that it suits to what we are looking. The second thing is, As I've mentioned before, I've used secondary sources, so different websites to help inform my research, to help facilitate my research. And I think it's really important to give credit where credit is due. If you've taken information from a third party website, for example, give the credit where the credit is due. Avoid plagiarism. It is okay to get the information from somewhere else as long as you respect the format which we're using throughout this research, which is the APA format, and any other format you are using. Give credit where credit is due. And finally, we have to ensure that once we receive the data, for example, the name or address or phone number, we do not want to share it with someone else. We have to make sure it's free from being shared or from being hacked. So we have to make sure we have developed a very good security system in place, and we have to communicate that with the client to be so as for them to understand that the information will not be used for a bad purpose and it will be safe with us. We'll not be maybe selling it to other marketing companies. No, they have to understand that we're serious in what we're doing. Once you've taken all that into consideration, we've discussed the overview of the problem, we've seen the problem, we've seen the target audience, we've uh, gathered information, we've analyzed the information gathered, we've promulgated recommendations, we've taken into consideration ethical consideration, we've understood that the world is changing and that the best of the companies are the ones that will innovate and adapt to the changes we suggested. So aligning themselves. Companies such as Amazon, for example, they have the resources, they have the data, they have the teams, they have the technical know-how to anticipate, to want to interact with the clients, to understand what the client wants. And once they do that, once they get that contact with the client, they will understand that if we increase the customers' shopping experience online, it is a win-win situation because the customers will be now more comfortable, and as a result they will shop more. And if they shop more, it's a good thing on the side of the company because the company will make much more profit. So companies, Amazon, eBay, Nike, every other company that has an online website has to make sure they engage with the client to understand what the client is looking for, understand who is shopping, and understand how to enhance that experience because it's a win-win situation. So that's my presentation for today. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. I'll be more than happy to answer. Thank you very much for listening to me today and hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you.